Hey, it's Chef Nathan, head chef and owner of The Polished Chef, and today I'm going to show you how to skin and sear some salmon. Okay, so the first thing we're going to want to do is I like to pat dry my salmon, so you just want to grab a paper towel and just nice and gently give it a good pat. When you dry it off, it just makes it much easier to work with. That way you can grab a hold of it a little bit better and then it's not quite as slimy. So I'm going to show you how to skin it. So I always want to save this belly piece right here, but we want to cut it separately. That way we can cook it separate so it cooks evenly. So what I want to do is we're going to go ahead and skin it first. So we're going to go ahead and cut this belly piece off. And then we're going to set that aside. And as you can see, the salmon does have a skin on. So we're going to cut just a small little slit right here in the back that we can kind of use as a handle to hold on to it. So at about a 45-degree angle, actually going down on the skin. A lot of people think they're gonna cut through the skin, but the skin is super tough. So you wanna use that to your advantage. So just slowly, you're gonna wiggle the knife and just kind of work your way down. And now that we have a little piece we can hang on to, you wanna actually pull the fish. As you can see, I'm not moving my knife at all, but I'm actually using the skin and I'm pulling that towards me. And as we pull that towards us, you want to kind of wiggle your knife back and forth, just like this, going down on the skin. You're not cutting through the skin, but you just want to slowly give that a wiggle as you pull. And if you need to, you can lift up, you can grab a little bit more of that skin. And that's why we dry it, so it's really easy to grab. And just slowly, we're going to pull that towards us and wiggle. It's a pull and wiggle. And then let's flip it over and see how we did. Perfect, we got all that off. So we're gonna go ahead and wipe our cutting board because we wanna get all that debris that was left on the skin that got stuck to our board, and in case there's any kind of scales. All right, and then we kind of pat that dry one more time. And then if you want to, you can trim all this stuff off. Some people don't mind it. Some people wanna trim it off a little bit, but you just wanna slowly, with your knife, cut off as much as you want. It really doesn't bother me that much if I eat it because it doesn't have a flavor or anything. And now we have our nice, beautiful piece of salmon. And then now we're gonna do the same thing, but to the belly piece. All right, let's see how we did on that one. Look at that, perfect, got it all off. Just nice and easy. Let the knife do the work. And then we're gonna cut this in half. All right, and that's that beautiful fatty belly piece. And then we're gonna cut this into some nice chunks. So I'm doing lunch-sized portions today. So we're gonna cut small little 4-ounce fillets. So it's just a quick tip. One thing you always want to ask whenever you're buying salmon from a market, just ask them, say, hey, does it have bones in it or not? And then most of the times, if you're at a market, they'll go ahead and skin it for you. But sometimes, like in this case, this one, I bought it with the skin on. All right, so now that we have our salmon cut into 3 beautiful pieces, we're gonna go ahead and do a little bit of salt and pepper on both sides. So you always want to kind of season from up high a little bit. That way, as it falls out of your fingers, it coats the salmon nice and easily. So a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and then we're just gonna give it a quick flip. We're gonna season it on both sides. Perfect. So now we got our pan on high heat. We wanna get it on high heat so that way we can get a really good sear. So one of the things we want to make sure we do is when we're doing a high heat is we use an oil that's got to have a great high heat temperature. So avocado, or there's lots of blends out there, and most of them now on the bottle, it'll actually say high heat. So if you were to use an olive oil or butter, it would actually burn, which is what we do not want to do. So now that we got our pan nice and hot, kind of roll that oil around a little bit and let that oil get hot. So we're gonna put this face side down. So what does face side down means? So the skin side is the side that was touching the skin. So the face side is where you wanna get your really good sear because that's the side that's gonna look the prettiest whenever we go to do our presentation. So we're gonna put that side down first. Not gonna touch it, we're not gonna move it. We're just gonna let that salmon sit there and, I like to say, do its thing. So our salmon's been sitting here for about 2.5 minutes and it's starting to form a really nice crust. It's just real important that the first 2.5 minutes, you don't wanna touch it because you want that crust to form. If you try to touch it and move it, it's gonna stick. So once that crust forms, it'll actually remove from the pan. So as you can see now, we're starting to form a little bit of a crust, but we're not quite golden how we wanna be. You're letting the natural sugars actually caramelize, and that's what gives you that really nice golden color. It's been about 4 minutes, so now we can see we have a really nice crust on that salmon. So we're gonna go ahead and give it a good flip. And then our thin piece right here. So you'll notice these pieces are thicker than this one, so this one's not gonna take near as long to cook. And I like to cook my salmon to a nice medium. So once we flip it, we're gonna go ahead and pull this piece out and set it aside for about 1 minute and let these pieces catch up a little bit. And then we're gonna throw in some fresh butter and some squeeze of lemon. Pieces have caught up, so now we're gonna turn the heat down to a medium, maybe a little bit less. We're gonna add our butter. And then we're gonna add our fresh lemon juice. I'm just gonna squeeze it right on top of that salmon. Look at that. Oh yeah, that butter and that lemon. Nice and simple. Salt, pepper, butter, lemon, salmon. The key is you wanna get really good quality fish, and then you don't really have to do a lot to it as far as seasonings go. If you want to, you can do a little bit of butter basting, where you just take your butter and drizzle it right on top of your fish. Get that lemon and that butter. Look how beautiful that is. Nice, got a nice crust. Nice and shiny, very beautiful. We got some beautiful salmon right here. All right, as you can see, our salmon is complete. It's nice, it's golden brown. It's cooked to a beautiful medium well. We got that brown butter in there. We're just gonna put it right on our plate. You can serve this with whatever you want. And then, if you want, we got just a little bit more fresh lemon on top. Nice and simple. Let the fish be the star of the plate. And then let's see how we cooked it. Look at that, nice and medium. Look at that, perfect salmon. If you don't like your salmon medium, you can cook it a little bit longer, however you prefer. That's perfect. Hey, it's Chef Nathan, head chef and owner of The Polished Chef. If you're liking all these videos, these tips and tricks that we're giving you, please like and follow, subscribe to the page. That way you're notified every time we drop a new video. Thank you so much.